Hello, I'm Jesse. Today I'm going to introduce one new voice translator. This translator has 4 big-inch screen and it can translate 45 different languages online. And Chinese into English and Chinese into Japanese, it can translate offline. So I'm going to take one small video to introduce this new high-end voice translator to you guys. Now we are going to see the packing list about this zhun-er translator. This translator is very beautiful, very good design. Now we can see when we open the box, we got a translator body and the user manual. It has a lot of different language, English, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and a lot of different language for the user manual. And the charging line and the stick to insert 4G SIM card. That's all for this. Now I'm going to introduce the button about this translator. In the top we can see here that's a power on power off button here. You can press this button to turn on the phone. And here it has a Type-C port, Type-C charge port here. And then we can see a left has the volume turn on turn off button here, and here has a 4G SIM card slot here. You can put a 4G SIM card by the stick and insert your 4G SIM card to connect internet. We can see right here is 2 buttons, red button, orange button. That it stands for the 2 different translation language here. So if you want to translate voice, you can press the button and speak. Here is a Wi-Fi quick open button. If your translator have 4G SIM card inside, you can press this button to turn on the hotspot by your translator. In front we can see here the quick AI photo button. You press this button, this will go to the photo translation by this button. And here there's a big red button, that's a playback button. If you want playback, you can press this button. And the downside we can see here is also another microphone here, and it's a 3.5 headset jacket here. In the back we can see here's one camera for the photo translation and flash, and also it has one very big loudspeaker in the back, so it's very clear to see all the button about this translator. Now I'm going to introduce the UI about this zhun-er translator. First we can see here the function 1, voice translation. When we go to the voice translation, we can find here has 45 different languages like Chinese, English, Cantonese, Thai, Russian, French, Spanish, Korean, German, Arabic, and you can see the language list here. It has 45 different languages, and also 45 different languages you can translate into each other. So it's very interesting. I will test the translation performance later. And we can see function 2, camera translation. It means that you can take some picture about the foreign menu in a restaurant, and it will scan the photo and the translator. Now I choose English translator to Chinese. Here is means filter site, and here is correct. It's meaning for that you go to a restaurant, you can scan the menu like Chinese, English, Japanese, Spanish, Korean, Greek, Turkish into Chinese and English for the photo translation. Third, we can see object recognition. It means that you can take a picture about some object, and it will tell you some interesting thing. It means the hand. Just for fun, I don't know what does it mean, what does it use for. And third, you can see a dictionary. When we go to dictionary, we can translate Chinese into English or English into Chinese. You can press the words here that will to tell you what does it mean. And 5, you can see a travel guide. When we go to a travel guide, we can see here has some city and country. You can choose, like France. Here's the city of Paris. It has some voice introduction about the city.
巴黎在建成2000多年后的今天，这个名字不会让任何一个人陌。
Here is usually for the Chinese traveler to go abroad. And we can see here, the page 2, we can see here is a destination. I think the destination is almost the same as the travel guide. It has some most visit country, like Japan. It has some country overview, and here is arrival and departure card and the customer security health. Just some useful information about your destination country. It's very similar to the travel guide. And here we can see a global Wi-Fi. Global Wi-Fi is very easy to know that you can pay for extra money, like to buy 1 day data service, like Russia for 18 yuan 1 day, Canada 22, and Italy 18, Japan 12. It's all the Chinese currency. You can buy the 1 day online data for your trip. Like we can see here as France. France 4G data 1 day. And here is include this country, almost include the EU country. About some very big country in Europe. Russia, Turkey, Cyprus, England, Germany, France, and like that. It's global internet access you can buy. And here we can see the Baidu map. This Baidu map is meaning for the Chinese user because in China we always use the Baidu map for some that find some places. This map is very being used in China. It's very convenient in China. We can find a destination and go there. And here we can see we got Google Map as well, because in China Google was blocked in China. We cannot use Google app or Google search in China. So this function also blocked in China now, but when you go abroad you can use this Google Map. And for some foreign user, here as a Google search, also it's only work in outside of mainland China. Here as a Google search. And page 3 we can see the voice assistant. This is just like the Caesar in the smartphone. When you can press this button and to talk with the machine. 深圳今天的天气。
哲儿没有听明白，可以再说一次吗？哲儿没有。
深圳今天的天气。
哲儿没有听明白。
深圳今天的天气。
哲儿没有听明白。
Well, something wrong with this function, I think. Voice assistant. Here has exchange rate. Exchange rate you can to add your country rate and to know the everyday currency rate. And the weather you can add for 10 country for your destination to see the different weather. And here's the world clock. You can see you can also add 10 cities to see the different time in different places. And here is the SOS button. SOS button, that means you can find some most big country. When you are in danger, here has some information about the Chinese embassy in the destination country. Like here's Japan, here's the phone number about embassy of Chinese government, and here the address, also the police telephone number and the health telephone number. So SOS button is to tell you some number and embassy of Chinese government in different country. Finally, we can see the setting. The setting button is very easy. This translator needed to connect with the Wi-Fi or hotspot. Finally, you can insert a 4G SIM card for this translator. This is online translation. It can translate English into Chinese, Chinese into English, and English into Japanese, and Japanese into English without internet. But for the other languages, you must connect internet, otherwise you cannot use it to translation. And we can see a setting here. You also can turn on turn off the volume and the brightness about this stuff. And here there's a hotspot. When you put your 4G SIM card inside this device is just like one smartphone. They also can share the 4G SIM card data for the other device. And here the time. And here the language. The system language has Chinese, traditional Chinese, Japanese, English, and Korea for the system language. An update. Sometimes they will release some updation. You can to update this voice translator, maybe for more new language about this device. Name, zhun-er port, translator, SN number, and the battery capacity here 88%. It's very convenient, however. That's all the UI function about this zhun-er port translator. Now we are going to test the translation performance. First, we go to the voice translation. This translator can translate 45 different languages. We can see the language menu. Now I only can speak Chinese and English, so I'm going to use Chinese to translate the other language and then to test, and later I'm going to use English to translate the other language to see the translation performance. Now first I choose English, here Chinese, and the target translation as English. 你好
Hello.
我想去美国旅行
I want to travel to the United States.
但是我不会英语，我需要一个翻译机。
But I can't speak English. I need a translator.
这个翻译机可以翻译45种语言。
The translator can translate 45 languages.
它中文和英文可以离线翻译。
He can translate Chinese and English offline.
它还能够把英语翻译成中文，离线翻译。
He can also translate English into Chinese offline translation.
它有4英寸的大屏幕。
He sometimes has large screens in inches.
Okay, I'm going to change another language to test some language. Thai. 每年有很多中国人去泰国旅行。
ในแต่ละปีมีชาวจีนหลายคนเดินทางไปประเทศไทย
所以说，翻译机还是很有重要用途的。
ดังนั้นแปลว่ามีวัตถุประสงค์ที่สำคัญของการแปล
有了翻译机，就可以和泰国人良好的沟通了。
มีเครื่องแปลภาษาคุณสามารถสื่อสารกับคนไทยได้ดี
这个翻译机可以翻译45种语言。
เครื่องแปลนี้สามารถแปล45ภาษา
Okay, I'm going to test another language to say some Russian. 莫斯科世界杯刚刚结束。
Кубок мира в Москве только что закончился.
我想去 莫斯科和圣彼得堡旅行。
Я хочу поехать в Москву и Санкт-Петербург.
但是我不会俄语，我需要一个翻译机。
Но я не знаю русского языка, мне нужен переводчик.
这个翻译机它有4英寸的大屏幕。
Что касается переводчика, у него большой экран поэзии.
不错，非常的有意思。
Хороший и очень интересный.
你好，很高兴见到你。
Привет, рад познакомиться.
Okay, I'm going to test another language and to say some big language. Italy.我想去意大利。
Galleggiarmi cucù.
我想去意大利。
Voglio andare in Italia.
意大利有很多美丽的城市。
Ci sono molte belle città in Italia.
也有很多中国人在意大利生活。
Ci sono anche molti cinesi che vivono in Italia.
那么有了翻译机，我就可以在意大利好好的玩耍了。
Con la macchina di traduzione posso giocare bene in Italia.
非常的不错。
È molto bello.
Okay, I'm going to say another language. Going to test some language. Arabic. Egypt Arabic. Saudi Arabia. 我想去沙特阿拉伯旅行。
أريد السفر إلى المملكة العربية السعودية.
沙特阿拉伯是一个神秘的国家，对于中国人来说。
المملكة العربية السعودية هي بلد غامض بالنسبة إلى الصينيين.
现在有了翻译机，我就可以方便的沟通了。
الآن هناك مترجم. أنا يمكن بسهولة التواصل.
今天什么天气呢？
اليوم الطقس ماذا؟
我想学习阿拉伯语。
أريد تعلم اللغة العربية.
Okay, let's go to next language. Just find some to test. Turkish. 土耳其旅行也在中国非常流行。
Türk seyahatleri de Çin'de çok popüler.
每年有很多的中国人去土耳其旅行。
Her yıl birçok Çinli insan Türkiye'ye seyahat ediyor.
然后我也想去土耳其，但是我不会土耳其语。
O zaman ben de Türkiye'ye gitmek istiyorum ama ben Türk konuşmayacağım.
现在有了翻译机就很方便。
Şimdi bir çevirmene sahip olmak çok uygun.
Now I'm going to speak English to test this language. Because I only can speak English and Chinese. I choose English. The accent about this translator has a lot of accent. Has Chinese English, UK English, US English, Australia English, Canada English, and South Africa English. I'm choosing China English, Chinese English. Nice to meet you. I want to go to Turkey.
Tanıştığımıza memnun oldum. Türkiye'ye gitmek istiyorum.
I think Turkey is one big country.
Bence Türkiye büyük bir ülke.
Goodbye.
Güle güle.
Now I'm going to test some other language about French. France French. I think a lot of people in different countries they speak French.
Je pense aux gens dans différents pays ils parlent le français.
There are a lot of French-speaking countries.
Il y a beaucoup de pays francophones.
Now I got one translator. I have no problem to communicate with them.
Maintenant je ne peux pas traduire, je communiquer avec
Good device.
bon appareil.
Okay, going to next language. Like, let me say about what Swedish. I want to go to Sweden, but I have no time.
Jag vill åka till Sverige men jag har ingen tid.
I heard that Sweden is very beautiful place.
Jag hörde att Sverige är väldigt vacker plats.
And I'm going to find the other language. Slovak. Slovak is very mysterious in China.
Takže to, čo je v Číne veľmi
Slovak is very mysterious in China.
Takže práca je veľmi skúsená v Číne.
Okay, I don't know anything about this country.
OK, o tejto krajine nič neviem.
Alright, let's go to next language.
V poriadku, prejdime do ďalšieho jazyka.
Okay, I found one big country, I think it's better. I'm going to speak that what language? Spanish, yeah, Spanish. Spanish. I want to go to Spain.
Español, quiero ir a España.
Spain is a big country in South Europe.
Pasa un gran país en el sur de Europa.
Spain is a big country.
Este es un gran país.
Alright.
Todo bien.
What day is it today?
¿Qué día es hoy?
What's the weather like in your city?
¿Cómo es el clima en tu ciudad?
I heard that the football is very popular in Spain.
Escuché que el fútbol es muy popular en España.
Okay, I think that's all for this now because I don't know what to say now.
Está bien, creo. Eso es todo por esta hora porque no sé qué decir ahora.
Okay, that's all for this. That's all the translation performance about this device. I think if you can to speak your language clearly, this translator is good enough for the travel translation. And this device have a lot of finding function, and you can see the travel guide, the destination, global Wi-Fi, Google Map, Google Search, and exchange rate, weather, what clock, SOS. This is mainly for design for the travelers to communicate in different countries. Very good stuff, and this translator has 4,200 capacity battery. It's a very big battery. I haven't seen before, and this translator can translate English and Chinese without internet, and for the other language you need the internet access to online translation. So I think they're not too bad. It's funny stuff.